Hello, everybody, and welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Boom! Boom, Clark.
Good boom, Adam.
Woo! Springtime, fall's coming, baby. Football, we got to see some football the past few weeks. Keep up with some football. Saw some football this past Saturday. Live Georgia football. Best time of the year, Clark, between January and September. It's the only time we get to see Georgia play football. That's what I tell my wife every year. I say, when G-Day comes around, we're going to take advantage of it because that is the only time before September and the calendar year that you get to see Georgia play live football, man. And we soaked in every second of it. Man.
We sure did. Yeah, G-Day was great. Welcome to episode number 50. We have reached the monumental
half-century mark.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Golly.
I can't believe it's been 50 episodes so far, and man, what a ride it's been. This episode is going to be fun. We're going to talk about G-Day. Yesterday was G-Day. We had a lot of fun, a beautiful, gorgeous day. We're going to talk about that. Our team, Adam, still looking really good. Really, really good. And then at the end of the episode, we're going to break down our most memorable moments on this show and kind of walk you through the history, if you will, of Row 60 and everything. And we've got some dates and we've got some great moments that we want to share with y'all and just reminisce a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, that's, Clark, honestly, that's one of our favorite pastimes to do, and always has been. When me and you used to reminisce on our childhood, reminisce on old Georgia games, just life memories. We're like just older gentlemen, you know, that are just sitting the old breakfast joint at, 5 a.m. and just talk about old times. You know, that's what we're like, but we do that every time we get together. We talk about old times. There's never, not a time that we don't get together that we don't reminisce. So that's what we're going to bring to this show is reminisce on our memories of Row 60 and where we're at, since it is the 50th episode. So kind of basically like two different episodes in one.
Right.
First half is going to be breaking down the spring football, what we saw at G-Day, some unfortunate news has come out, just kind of a state of where we're at right now. A state of where we're at, and then the second half of the episode, we're going to kind of just go back down memory lane, and hope y'all stick around and join us for that, because I promise you it's going to be fun, and hopefully bring up some good, exciting memories that you share with your family when those events were happening, even maybe listening to us during that time, man. And we appreciate everything that y'all have done to get us to this point, man. It's been very, very exciting, and a lot of good memories come, Clark. That's the thing. There's a lot of good memories to come, man. So exciting times right now here in mid-April, and we're just keep chugging along, man. You got some flowers just blooming. The grass is growing. Started cutting some grass. Got some pollen out there. Just, the birds are chirping. The birds are chirping.
Indeed chirping.
And
they're pooping all around my house. I'm going to have to bring my pressure washer out. And on my
get
truck.
All that out. Yeah, and on my truck. So, springtime is here is what I'm saying. So we've got through the dreary winter days that we talked about the last time that we saw everybody, Clark, on the podcast, was let's just get through these dreary winter months, kind of so the sun's starting to shine a little bit more. And you're starting to kind of get that feel, that fresh grass smell when you roll the windows down the truck and you just go cruising down a country road right there, man. And it's a good feel this time of year. I like it. I get fired up. I get to thinking about, that we're getting closer to fall. Honestly, that's what I do. It's sick. That's how I am, but that's how I am, man. Man. So, but nah, in all seriousness, a lot of good times to enjoy this year. Hope you and your family are enjoying the times, man. I will tell you this, Clark, me and you have been wide open, man.
Yeah, we sure have.
Wide open.
Lots of things happening in both of our lives, and that is why it's taken us a little bit longer to get these episodes together. That's But you're right, Adam. This is the point of the season where it kind of starts cranking back up, and we kind of get back in the saddle, and we're starting to really focus more on Georgia football again. So
man.
It's gonna be fun.
That's one thing. We don't want anybody to just get tired of us. Pump it out. We want to keep it right with the content when we put it out there. So the timing of it. So we're going to kind of do the same thing what we have been doing, man. And before too long, it'll be time we'll be back to our regular programs with it. Regular shows, weekly shows, and the same structured content that we have, and cannot wait for that, man. But we're not going to wish our lives away. We're going to enjoy the moment we're in, enjoy and soaking up just being back-to-back national champions. Still strut. I talked some smack to a Tennessee fan that was on YouTube.
Really?
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh,
huge.
I've got to see this, Adam. Where was it?
This was on, well, he has a podcast. Him and his cousin do a farming podcast.
Okay.
So he's a cattle farmer in Tennessee, man. I mean, seems like a great guy. Follows YouTube channel, and then they have a podcast. They do a YouTube podcast like we do, and it's him and his cousin. And they were talking about something, and the state of Georgia got brought up. And he just dog trashed the state of Georgia, you know. So I replied back just basically saying, and of course, Georgia football, talk about how grown men barking and all this stuff. And I told him, come tailgate with us in Knoxville. I'll show you how to bark. And then what was cute about the deal is he wears in his videos when he's with his cows out there, he wears a Orange Bowl champions hat.
Oh, that's adorable.
So, and
precious.
I said, the only difference with us, y'all up there and us down here is we're wearing back-to-back national championship hats out in the back. Now Orange Bowl champion hats. But honest to gosh, he's a great guy. And that's what makes it so great down here in this culture, man, is I wouldn't have it any other way. I want people in Tennessee that are diehard Tennessee fans to hate Georgia. I want people down in Florida to hate Georgia. I want South Carolina, Clemson people to hate Georgia, Alabama people to hate Georgia, LSU people to hate Georgia, because I hate them too. And that's what makes it beautiful, man. And what makes it beautiful about Southeastern culture is the college football landscape. It's the love for your state, the love for your school where you're an alumnus at, or either you're just residing the state, or heck, you even just like the team. I don't care. You're part of the nation, and your disdain for their rivals, man. And it goes both ways. So I would want them to have that. So anyway, it was just friendly banter. It was just good friendly banter with him. He's a great guy, it seems like, and hopefully he will be in Knoxville. We're going to tailgate with him.
Are we really?
We're going to tailgate with him. He's going to come to the tailgate then.
That's going to be
he's a smart guy and everything, but I enjoy watching his YouTube and whatnot. So
interesting.
Anywho. So
yeah. All right, let's go. Let's talk. Let's shift gears here.
Yep. Kind of derailed that one.
No. I liked it.
Anyway, just still straight.
Just catching up.
I love it now because I let people know who's the back-to-back national champions.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that we are.
Dang right.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah. Hey, big news, Adam. Pretty shocking news. Yesterday, right before G-Day, this is when I found it out. I may have been news to other people earlier than that, but Bear Alexander entered the transfer portal. And man, he made a difference last year. He stepped in and rotated with Jalen Carter, and I think he did a great job. He's a heck of an athlete, just a big body, causes havoc. But man, he's in the transfer portal, going somewhere else.
Yeah, Clark, I didn't see it coming. I think everybody, unless you had a big inside connection, didn't see it coming until it was announced, about mid-morning yesterday. And I saw that, and I was like, wait a minute, am I reading this right? Is there a typo with this? And then, it just kept coming out. And first thing I thought, Clark, was he's from the state of Texas.
Right.
Like another individual who was a big piece in the past two national championship teams in A.D. Mitchell, and made 2 huge catches and 2 of the biggest wins in Georgia football history. But he's down there at 40 acres in Austin, Texas, and had a spring game with the Texas Longhorns yesterday in A.D. Mitchell. So that's where my thought went. And I've talked about on this program that my thoughts of the Texas oil tycoons, Clark. And the people down in Texas and down around in Austin, Texas, and then College Station for Texas A&M. I don't care for those people, Clark. All those rich son of a guns, and their bolo ties, man, and their suits and their cowboy hats, just prancing around, just spitting out money and trying to buy championships in Texas A&M and Texas. You know what? They ain't got it. They don't have 2 rings like they do here in the great state of Georgia, Clark. And they're trying their best, man. They're trying their best. So that was my immediate thought was, here comes some Texas tampering.
Texas
tampering happening.
We need to trademark that term.
Texas tampering. But it might not be. I actually have heard it could be Southern California and Lincoln Riley. And that's what every defensive lineman wants to go do is play for a Lincoln Riley, Alex Grinch defense. That really gives you some good player development right there. When you go to Los Angeles, California and play the physicality in the trenches of the Pac-12. And for a great defensive guru and developer in Lincoln Riley. You win big with Lincoln Riley too, Clark. You win big with Lincoln Riley. But if you want some individual accolades and you're a quarterback, then heck, you can do that with him. But the last time I checked, old Bear's not going to be slinging the rock.
No.
So, if that's the case, that rumor of USC. So, honestly, what it comes down to, Clark, is right now, that's just the landscape of college football. We've talked about it and talked about it and talked about it and how it will be for the foreseeable future is kids are looking at NIL packages and just putting themselves up on the auction block, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just going, yeah.
It's sad. You know, it's moving away from what we grew up on.
Yeah.
And a lot of other people out there who grew up on, you know, the love of the game. And,
love of the game.
Athletes went to schools because they loved the school and they loved to play for this team and they loved to play at this university and in this environment. And and now it truly is just all about the money. And it begs the question, do we start calling these guys professionals?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, are they any longer amateurs?
No, I mean, they're professionals. You know, it used to be like when you would talk about a thing that these kids would, you would just say, well, you know, they're amateurs. You don't need to be too hard on them. Mm-hmm. It's getting to the point now. If you're getting paid this much, you better perform.
Yeah.
You better perform, you know, and luckily here at Georgia, we don't have that problem. I mean, they're obviously performing great and whatnot. Coaches, everything. That goes for coaches, too. There's so much money circulating now, and for these coaching staffs and these players are getting, they better win. Yeah. And luckily, we don't have that problem here in Athens, but other places are like, hey, you know, you're getting this, that, all that, just an arms race for new facilities and everything, and just unlimited budgets, it seems like. It's just getting more and more crazy. And more crazy just the ticket prices fans are paying. But luckily here in Athens, I mean, we're seeing what we want to see when we go and what we've dreamed of seeing. But other places, man, you know, that's why there's so much short leashes is that. But, you know, yeah, these kids now today, they're just putting themselves up on the townhouse, you know, courthouse square right there and just being auctioned off to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
And going back to Bear, quite honestly, once again, I look, I get it. If I were 18, 19, 20, 21, and there was somebody waving millions of dollars. Now, I'm not saying he's getting millions. I mean, he may, hundreds of thousands of dollars in front of me. That may sway my decision making a little bit. So I get that.
Yeah.
But good riddance. You know, if he goes, see ya.
Whatever, man. But I hate it for him because, man, you think if you don't think short term, because I know he's getting took care of at Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like Georgia's just he is getting paid. He's having a heck of a life, probably living like a king. I've never been a Division I football player.
You haven't?
No, I never have. That's surprising.
Really?
Isn't it? Never have. Never have been a Division I athlete. Period. Never. I mean, that thought never crossed my mind at all during my my athletic career growing up. But anywho, for the people who did, it looks like that when you go to places like Georgia, especially anywhere in the SEC, you live like kings, right?
You do.
I mean, you know, free housing, free food, you know, and now you're getting paid, and you were getting paid back then too. Don't be naive about it. They were getting paid pretty dang well even before NIL. So anyway, what I'm saying is you're already for these studs 3 years of living like kings there.
Right.
And then if you do the right things, work hard enough, get developed right, then you're going to be a high draft pick, and then boom, your life's completely changed forever. Especially at a place like Georgia in a position Bear Alexander was in, Clark, at defensive tackle, to see the guys before him. Jordan Davis, first round pick. Jalen Carter will be a top 10 pick this year.
Right.
And I feel safe in saying that. So those two guys, and then you even add in Devontae White, who was a first round pick too, Clark. So 3 guys in the past 2 drafts in the same position you're at, and you're on the same path that they are at. And you're getting developed by Kirby Smart, Trey Scott, these guys that you're going to get to be a part of that, Clark, a part of that lineage, man. And I don't understand that. I mean, if you just put in the work and take the coaching that Coach Scott, Coach Smart, all these guys are going to get you to, you're going to be just like those guys. Yeah, I mean, he can be. I mean, you could go anywhere, play wherever if you have enough talent and get recognized, Clark. But it's going to just make yourself even better when you're playing in an environment like Georgia, who has already, you know, proof of all these just high round draft picks of guys just getting filthy rich, especially on the defense side of the football that's been coming out the past couple of drafts, man. And I don't understand it from that point, man, but I'm not Bear Alexander. I don't know Bear Alexander, and he's not from the state of Georgia. He doesn't bleed red and black, but I hate it, man. I hate it for him.
You know what's interesting? But wasn't Bear the one that got the tattoo of the Power G?
He might have been
on his bicep. I'm pretty sure he did.
He might have been.
Well, anyway, it's baffling, but Adam, we're to the point, and this is something
but whatever.
This is something that we talked about yesterday. You know, we're to the point now where one player doesn't decide our outcome, our destiny, right?
Preach. Yeah. It's not about one player anymore and then thinking, oh, gosh, the sky is falling. No, we're the University of Georgia, man. The University of Georgia and the culture now under Kirby Paul Smart.
Yes.
Under Kirby Paul Smart is, hey, if you're not going to buy into it, it's already established, and the train is full of coal and running down the track. You get off or get run over. Get on.
Well, you got a couple options there.
1-3.
Oh, man.
Mainly you're gonna get steamrolled if you're on the way trying to stop it. But no, hey, if he's not a part of the culture, man, it kind of seemed like from some of the interviews yesterday, people asked around, some of these journalists did about Bear and the situation. There was no comments. Clark could have been a big me little team guy instead of a big team little me guy. Could have been. We're not going to throw stones and falsely accuse. Right? Are we? No, we don't do that.
But
also, I would like to say, no grown men, really anybody, period, but especially grown men need to get on the Twitter.
Yeah.
And I don't think you should have a Twitter. I don't have a Twitter. But get on the Twitter and tweet at Barry Alexander.
Or any 17, 18, 19, 20,
anybody. You can tweet at Kirby Paul if you want to. Yeah. Whatever. I mean, if you need to tweet at somebody, just throw it out there. You can tweet it. Tweet at, some of these guys, Billy Napier, whatever, Shane Beamer, Dabo, whatever you want to do. But
hey, Jeff Collins.
Don't tweet at the young kid, the boy, the guy. I just said that now that they are like professional athletes, but still. Just don't do it. Well, this is not a good look.
Yeah.
This is not a good look.
Yeah, don't do that.
Hey, let them go, whatever, because Clark, the experience that is inside on the trenches on the defensive line here at Georgia, I'm going to trust Kirby Smart. I'm going to trust Trey Scott. Also, hey, portal was happening. Guys are portaling out, which also means you have the option if guys want to come be a part of this, then you can bring them in. Mm-hmm. And if there is somebody that is out there that those guys like the potential of, if Kirby and Trey like the potential of, by gosh, they're going to come get them.
Yep.
It's a very desirable place to be. But even if they don't, Clark, you look at the guys there, the experience, the snaps, the guys who have played in big-time situations, man. Tyron Ingram's Dawkins, who played really good Saturday G-Day. Nazir Stackhouse, Warren Brinson, man, Zion Logue.
Right.
And then you got new guys coming in. The Kristen Millers of the world coming in on the line. And, these guys, Clark, are, of course, Jordan Hall, too. He is a guy, highly regarded man, look good, looks the part, guy who's going to be a absolute freak force on the defensive end side. He will be the guy who will be the next Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and so on.
Love it. Yeah, let's talk about G-Day. You brought that up just a second. We're going to move on from Bear once again.
Yeah, move on. Hey, wish him well.
Whatever.
Seriously, wish him well. In all seriousness, wish him well. I hope he finds what he's looking for, man. Definitely don't want anybody who is discontent, not where they want to be. If he truly just doesn't want to be at Georgia, whatever, that's fine. But I can tell you this, Georgia's going to be fine without Barry Alexander.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. This last we're going to mention them.
Yep.
Adios. Let's wave bye.
See ya. All right, G-Day. Yesterday, gorgeous day, Adam. My gosh, it was room temperature outside, 71, just blue skies, a few clouds in the sky. So it was beautiful. It was a great day.
Good Lord painted a beautiful Sanford Stadium.
He sure did.
Yesterday.
He sure did.
Loved it.
Adam, we took your daughter, Kallie Ann Thornton. Tell us about that experience.
It was special,
as a dad.
man. It was special. I told Kelsey, I was like, this is time. This is a family game.
Yeah.
We talk about family games, and this was definitely a family game, family atmosphere. That's what I said, Kelsey. I said, Kelsey, hey, this is a good family atmosphere. We need to go. We need to take some pictures, make some memories. Because I'm all about a memory making.
You are.
I love to make a memory, man. So I said this would be a good time to take Kallie, go make a memory in Sanford Stadium, get her picture made, put her in a nice little Georgia outfit, and let her dad introduce her to what's so special to him, And so it was great. I was able to hold her while watching the team and kind of just talk with her and just tell her she don't know how blessed she is.
Yeah, she really does.
She has been in this world, and even was in her mom's belly for another national championship, but was in the world for the other national championship.
Yep.
So, she doesn't know honestly, she doesn't know life without Georgia winning the national championship.
Yeah.
So, even though she's really not coherent in the fact of what football is, she is.
Well, she's learning that.
She's learning. We've watched some highlights with the Georgia-Tennessee game. You taught her some things about
cover two. What a cover two.
Cover two. Yeah, that's exactly right. So we, it was, in all seriousness, it was a great moment. It was special. And anybody who has been able to take their child and make a memory, that's the biggest thing, is the memories you're making with your loved ones. That's why we do this podcast and why we love Georgia football so much is, yes, exciting to see them win, obviously, but it's the moments that me and you shared growing up, going to these games with friends, family, other ones, and getting to pass that down to the next generation. So having my daughter Kallie there and my wife, it was a blessed moment, man. It was exciting and everything I hoped it would be, and can't wait for the next one.
There you go.
It was great.
It was a good one to take her to. Like you said, it was a good family game. Someone said about G-Day, obviously it's Georgia versus Georgia. Georgia doesn't play anyone else.
We'll see.
You're right.
That's another topic.
Yeah, maybe. So it's Georgia versus Georgia, good on good, just a in-house scrimmage essentially.
Good times,
but somebody said, and I thought this was great. It was hilarious. They said that Georgia's hardest game of this season is G-Day.
That's right.
Yeah, I was you know what? Honestly, I mean, you're playing the best athletes, and I mean that's essentially what it was. But it was a great day. If you missed it, UGA 11. We're at UGA 11 now. Was introduced to the world. Boom. And we like to think that Adam was the one.
Yeah. Why not?
Came up with that name.
I absolutely did.
Yeah.
I just pitched it to the Siler family and just said, hey, this guy needs to be boom. It needs to be said boom every time it's addressed. So.
Well, it's one of three things. It's either, because we were thinking, why Boom? Why name a dog Boom? I mean, I love the name.
Yeah.
We thought of one of three things. One, it comes from Will Muschamp.
Yeah.
People call him Coach Boom.
Yep.
Number two is it could be Kirby Smart.
Kirby or Will's booms are not family friendly booms. Like our Row 60 boom is. I can tell you that right now.
Yes.
I can tell you that right now.
Both of them.
Have you ever seen the why Coach Boom, Will Muschamp is Coach Boom? Have you seen that Auburn video?
Yes,
when he was his first stint as Auburn defensive coordinator. I think they're playing like Arkansas. That cracked me up.
With the marker board.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that, and then he's coming off the field. He catches a hot mic after a big like fourth down stop. And that was great. It's great. I mean, that's what the pageantry, that's the intensity, especially of defensive football that I like, that I'm wired with. It's just that high level, just a good fourth down stop or big third down stop. And, sometimes in the heat of the moment, that kind of stuff flies. But our boom here is a family-friendly boom.
That's it. And Boom was adorable. My goodness, he's so cute.
Yeah, he's a good one, man. I tell you what, I need to go on a rant about our UGA breed right now.
Go on. Hold on, just say. Let's talk right quick. We need to pay homage. Is that the right terminology? Pay homage. We need to pay homage to Q, who's UGA 10.
Most winningest UGA.
Most winningest UGA. He is by far the best DGD, the biggest.
UGA. Just a lot of good ones.
Yeah. God, man, I love that dog and very proud of him. As if he did something.
He did good, man.
Yeah,
I mean, he really got the crowd jacked when a hot September day and they cut the camera to him. He's just flopped out on those bags of ice, just living the dream, man.
God bless him.
Really, he would get the stadium up, good energy level, whatnot. But
all right, give us that rant,
man. I was thinking, I remember like my whole childhood. Maybe just days are going by faster now, but like UGA 6 was it. Like for a long time. I mean, that old boy, he had a run. I mean, from like 99 to 08 maybe, or 09. Something like that. I could have my years wrong. I hadn't looked at it in a long time. And now I just feel like we're going too fast.
Too fast.
We're having too short of tenures with it. And I'm not going to get into why I think that is because we are a family-friendly show, and I don't want to introduce topics that need to be discussed later on that row 60 is not going to be the reason why it is discussed. But as older people can understand why, I just think there needs to be some different lineages.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying?
Some new blood in there.
Blood in there a little bit, man. It's just not healthy. It's just not healthy. I mean, you can see you can look at the physical. You can look at the physical form and attributes and the athleticism of the dogs from UGA 1 to UGA to Q, who had a good success. But like I said, it wasn't because he was running around, jumping up, biting Auburn players. It's because he was sprawled out on 2 or 3 bags of ice in his doghouse. The controlled climate and getting carried around. They'll be getting carried around more than they're walking around these days. And it's not a good look. It's not a good look. And people need to be ashamed who are making those decisions. And it's the truth. And it just needs to be addressed. I'm going to leave it at that right now.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. I'm sweating so much. I'm laughing so hard.
It's true.
It is true.
It's true. It's true.
Oh, man.
Had to go on a good rant today, and the UGA rant, and but it is evident, and I just hope something that can be addressed is addressed. But we wish all the luck to our guy Boom and UGA 11.
Oh man,
for a good run of health, many years of health, please, and ability and being able to make road trips, man. We need to have a UGA that's strong and healthy and can make a road trip for years to come. I mean, God.
Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, gosh. That was amazing.
Just get new blood, man.
Get some new blood.
It's okay.
We need
It's
new
all right.
blood.
Golly.
Oh my gosh. Well, red team won.
All right, good. Yeah.
31-26. That would be the starting offense, right? So
Look at Mike Bobo.
Yeah.
Look at Mike Bobo getting after it, getting a
And
big
Mike
win.
Bobo, it will not be eating the beanie weenies this week at practice. It will be the black team.
Yeah.
They will actually be getting a lobster and steak dinner. That's a tradition that's been there for years. None other,
like none other. A tradition like none other.
And they actually do eat beanie weenies. I've seen it. So
I'm excited about Coach Bobo, man. I saw a little clip on Georgia DAWGS, and he looks like he's moving around good.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, had some health issues a while back at Colorado State, and he looked like he was good, energetic, man, happy to be here with his best friend Kirby Smart. Yeah. Calling the offense, man. You're going to see it is going to be an offense, Clark. It's not like it's going to be just completely revamped. No, it's going to be like what Monken ran. I actually think we're going to run the ball better.
Yeah.
I don't think we might not. I don't think I was looking at some old games from last year, South Carolina, and that's what I do during the offseason is I watch some old football games, man. I think we might not be able to scheme guys open like Monken was so good at doing, but I actually think on the flip side, though, I think we're going to be able to have better run schemes and run the ball.
You're going to see, I guarantee this.
More power run.
We're going to see more explosive run plays. I'm talking 20-plus yard.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
I love that.
I mean, in the same way that you can kind of scheme guys open in the passing game, you can scheme guys open in the running game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, and look, yesterday was a test. I'm glad we went and we saw it in person, Adam, because I like what I saw offensively because there is a lot of carryover from at least the formations and stuff that we were in last year. There's a lot of carryover into this year. You're seeing a lot of two tight end sets. I mean, you're going to see Oscar Delp. You're going to see Brock Bowers absolutely on the field so much this year. And I love that, and Bobo's he's going to add in his wrinkles. He's going to inject his DNA into this offense.
Right.
And it's going to be a little different. It's not going to be an exact carbon copy of what it was last year, but it's going to be close, and we're going to run the ball a little bit more effectively. If anything, I think it's going to just be more balanced in general. Yeah,
it is absolutely, Clark. It will be, man, and it's something that I'm excited to see. I think we're going to be able to run the ball between the tackles better, and that's something and I'm not going to complain. Absolutely not complaining. I don't care how you score points; just score more points than the other team. It doesn't matter. But one thing you can say is I don't feel like the past few years you've seen the Georgia identity of being hard-nosed, run the ball between the tackles. Is that fair to say?
Sure.
In a sense. So I think you'll see that more, but you might not see as many good just schemed up plays that just guys are streaking down the field wide open.
Right.
And you might. I don't know. Either way, it's going to be a successful offense. There's going to be points scored, man. And Todd Monken is a DGD, and he was absolutely great. I'm in no way saying that Mike Bobo is going to come and be better than Todd Monken, but he shouldn't be in his shadow either, Clark, because Mike Bobo has done some good things at Georgia before, and I think he will do some even better things, Clark, and have an even better second stint as Georgia offensive coordinator than the first one.
I agree.
In the sense of productivity, and I think he's the guy. And Saturday, just a little small sampling that you can't base anything out of, especially on the offensive side of the ball, as vanilla as you can be. But everything you read for the spring, everything, I think he's going to be all right. Yeah. And we're going to be fine, man. And we're in dang good shape.
We are
to do it again.
Certainly are.
1, 2, 3.
3 straight. That would be that'd be amazing. Offensive line. That was one thing I was kind of looking at yesterday. Who's going to replace Broderick Jones? What is that going to look like? Saw a guy named Ernest Green, Adam.
Yeah, man.
Redshirt freshman. Playing left tackle.
Yeah.
Now, I think he'll probably rotate. I don't know. I mean, they all like to rotate. They all got to be able to play different positions on the line. But that's saying something to me.
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, I remember he had big hype when he came on campus, man. A highly regarded kid. And, outside of him, you got guys like Xavier Truss, and then you got Cedric Van Pran coming back. I think it's the biggest thing that's going to cement of how big this offensive line is going to be this upcoming year and how good they're going to be for a first-year starting quarterback that we'll get to who we think that might be. But, you got Cedric Van Pran coming back at center. Huge. Yep. Tate Ratledge coming back, man. Finally got a full season under his belt last season. It was good. Amarius Mims, a guy who's been a roller coaster for him in Athens, but very, very talented man, finally settled in, and here we go. So, and going back to that, the last thing we'll say, Barry Alexander, Amarius Mims did the same thing last year.
He did.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Tested the water, but came back. But I don't know. Anyway, last thing, I meant to mention that earlier. But
well, what if Baird decides to stay?
I mean,
whoops.
They might, but Amarius Mims is a guy who I think will be strong at a tackle position as well, and somebody who's going to be I think the offensive line is going to be good. Stacey Searles is a guy who a lot of heat when he was hired, a lot of heat throughout, but guy I think he proved himself last year, Clark. And you just have learned never to question Kirby Smart with coaching decisions. Kirby Paul Smart. Yeah. Since 2019.
Yeah.
I think you could question
when he got rid of Kallie,
and then after that, everything's just been hit.
Right, right.
So again, excited. Offensive line is going to be strong. Man, receiving core is going to be even better. Even better. You lose A.D. Mitchell, and they're even better, man. Yeah. You get Ra Thomas and Dominic Lovett. Dylan Bell, Clark, very physical-looking guy out there. I think he's going to be a guy who's going to be big in his sophomore year. Yeah. Of course, you got Ladd McConkey. Many snaps, big catches with Ladd McConkey, and then you add in receiving core Brock Bowers. Say that. I mean, enough said.
And I think we're going to see a lot of Oscar Delp. I think he dropped a couple yesterday. Yeah. And I mean, you do have to take what you see at G-Day with a grain of salt.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you got him, and then you got Rosemary Jack Saint. Right. Guys played a lot of football.
And Arian Smith.
And that's who I was going to mention next. Arian Smith, I think, is going to take an even bigger step up. And I would love to see it, Clark. Him have a big productive year for some of the adversity he's been through. But it seems like Bobo likes him a lot. And who wouldn't?
I was about to say, listen. I'm going to say this now. I'm just going to put this on record. The connection in the past 2 years has really been, in my opinion, it's been Stetson to Brock, right? That's kind of been the connection, right? Yeah. Between quarterback and receiver. Granted, Brock Bowers just a freak. That's what we need to label him as. But what I'm saying is this year, it's going to be Carson Beck and Arian Smith. I think we're going to see a lot of downfield passes, a lot of curl routes, a lot of slants, a lot of posts, a lot of go routes.
A lot of stuff, man. A lot of guys who get the ball. A lot of guys who get the ball. A lot of stuff you could do with number 11 and everybody on that receiving core. I mean, being able to do what they've done between, you think 2 years ago you lose Jermaine Burton, and then A.D. Mitchell last year goes down as injured most of the year, and then he has a big playoff, used, and then transfers out. But then you just replace guys, man. Right. And, Arian's a guy who has just been there since 2020, man. Had some adversity, been injured, hadn't got as many touches as you would think these guys won't, and hopefully his time this fall is going to pay off even more, and I think it will. I think there's going to be a lot of balls for a lot of different guys in that receiving room, man, and I'm excited to see it. Dominic Lovett is going to be a guy who I think is going to be absolutely huge too, man. Of course, Bowers is going to get his balls, and I'm very excited just to see everybody, this whole offense, man. I mean, you look at it, the offensive line's good, the receiving core is even going to be stronger.
Running backs.
And let's talk about running backs. Running backs might be the question mark that you think, who's going to step up and be healthy here? Yeah. Kendall Milton, bless his heart, had an injury this spring that limited his spring practice time. And it's kind of looking, and we hope not, that he's just not going to be able to stay healthy. Right. Because we saw at the end of the season when he did get feeling good, that hamstring kind of healed up and other nicks and bruises just healed up. I mean, he became a hard runner and a force, man. Branson Robinson did get to play yesterday, but I think had a very strong spring. You got Dejon. He's going to be the guy, Dejon Edwards and Roderick Robinson. He carried hard some, I think rushed, what was it? 11 times for 42 yards.
It's not bad.
So close to about 4 yards per carry, and a lot of that was between the tackles too, Clark. So for a freshman guy coming in early. So Savon Clark, Cash Jones, those guys, got some carries. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be that guy in a long lineage of running backs that's dated back a long time of guys stepping up and being playmakers. Is Kendall going to be the guy, man? Is Dejon Edwards going to take that next step forward, or is Branson Robinson going to be the bell cow? And who's going to be able to, and unfortunately they can't control it, stay healthy enough to be the guy who's going to get the majority of the carries. I think that's going to be the big question mark going into the season on the offensive side of the ball.
And then the other question mark that we kind of went into G-Day with was who's going to be this quarterback? Who's going to be the guy that takes the reins and really becomes the leader, not only just on the offense, but the whole team, Adam.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can say what you want to about Stetson Bennett. Yeah, a lot of people don't necessarily like his personality nowadays, and I kind of understand that. But my point is, he was a good leader. He really was.
Yeah, he was.
At least in that locker room. And on the field, he's a great leader. And that's what you need at the quarterback position. So, I think yesterday we saw Carson Beck just absolutely kill it.
Yeah.
And once again, you got to take G-Day with a grain of salt, or any spring game for that matter. But these are good indications for what's to come. And Carson, he's got a cannon at him.
NFL arm strength, man. And really, you notice, Clark, and what I want to brag about Carson Beck about, go back to 2021, UAB game. Second game of the year, right after the Clemson game. JT Daniels gets hurt in the Clemson game. It comes out, if you remember, that week right after that, he was going to be out for the UAB game. And you're wondering, what the world? You know, he just had a dinged up 2020 campaign. Came in the back end of 2020, came back for that Missouri game and the Peach Bowl and just lights out Mississippi State game in the COVID year. And then started off with one. The Clemson game didn't look great on offense, but won it. Yeah. And then you're getting excited, and then you get to the UAB game, and you think Carson Beck's going to be the guy to start. No, Stetson Bennett. And that kind of starts the story of those last 2 years that everybody knows all too well, which is just great. But I remember, Clark, in the second half of that game, Carson Beck throwing a pick six?
Yeah,
a pick
I think
six.
So.
And I mean, really, like, an awful ball. And then even more so, that was just telling, was the lackluster hustle, I guess I would say, hustle to try to make a tackle and save a pick six, which cost us shutout, was it not?
Yeah,
like 56-7. Yeah, it didn't that cost a shutout or something like that. Yeah. So I remember then thinking, and then just looking at what Kirby just lit in on Carson Beck, and all the stuff you heard was Beck's going to Florida State after this year, man. He's going to Florida State. No, he doesn't. You know what he does? He comes back, he works hard, and when he got time last year behind Stetson Bennett, Clark, I remember South Carolina, he threw a dime to Oscar Dale, but every time he got in the game last year, he looked poised, he looked ready. Everything that you would want in a guy, number 2 quarterback who could be number 1 at any snap of the ball game that was ready to go. He looked just a completely different guy last year, and he looked like he's built on it even more for this opportunity this spring during G-Day, man. He looks like a guy who has been playing a long time, even though, this is 4th year? Fourth year in the system. So, I mean, so it's exciting, man. It's exciting to see. I definitely think I will go on record. Carson Beck will be the starting quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs during the 2023 season, Clark. Yeah. And I'm fine with it completely, man. Yeah. I think he's going to be able to be a leader. I think he's going to be able to get guys lined up right, and I think he's going to be able to have a quick release and get a lot of playmakers to football, man. The one thing, Clark, is I wish he had just a little bit more mobility. If you gave him Vandegrift's legs, my gosh, you would. It's not even worth thinking about. It doesn't happen, but it would be amazing. But I don't know, man. I don't know with kind of the thing. I think Monken was a big guy in a mobile quarterback, and I think Kirby is too, and I think that's a big reason why. In the beginning days that Stetson Bennett got more of a nod over JT Daniels when they were still kind of before Stetson became Stetson. Sure. You get what I'm saying? Sure. So I think if Monken was here, you might see somebody like Vandegrift kind of get a nod over Carson just because the mobility aspect.
Sure.
But Bobo, that might not be the case, man.
Right.
And I think Stockton looked good yesterday. I'm going to make a bold prediction here and say that Stockton will be your number 2 guy.
I'm with you. Look,
that's not a slight toward Brian. I'm not trying to at all say, and you take away anything from just 2 hours of spring football that we've got to watch. But that's all me and you have to go off of. So that's what we're going to go off of. Right. But just take that with a grain of salt. But anyway,
I wasn't super impressed with Brock Vandegrift's performance yesterday. And once again, this is like the 5th time we said it, but take it with a grain of salt. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm with you. I think Gunner might be the number 2 guy. And the point is, though, we need to have, I think, competition, right? Yeah. Like it's probably Carson Beck's job to lose at this point, right?
Oh,
that's number 1's kind of, I feel like, sealed the deal there. But you still want a good, healthy competition between Brock Vandegrift and Gunner Stockton. So I don't know. Do one of those guys transfer at the end of this year? I don't know. I don't know what it will look like. I don't know if Carson Beck will want to. Is he a senior this year?
Yeah, he's a redshirt junior, right? And he could go pro after this year, but he is a redshirt junior, or is a redshirt sophomore? No, it's a redshirt junior. He came in 2020.
Yeah.
and redshirted 2020, and then had 21, 20. Right. Yeah, that's right. So he is, but yeah, he'd go pro after this. If he lights it up, Clark, he'd go pro, and then it's Stockton Vandegrift battling for next year, man. But then you got another kid coming in who might just push both of them to the side. But we'll see. That's way jumping ahead of ourselves with that. But no, talking about this year, man, what I love about it is I think they're all three great guys, great competitors, and are handling it the best way you possibly can, man. That whole locker room is, and that's what I love about it, and what you love to see in a mature football team, and that's and they're a mature football team. That's why they're back-to-back national champions. Exactly. And I think it's something that I love the fact that it seems like, and it could change tomorrow after this episode's released, but everything I've heard that these guys are all going to stay in the fall. They're all going to compete, man. But to me, it looks like that you could tell that everybody knows Carson Beck's got a huge leg up on it, and they're playing catch up. Yep. And Vandegrift's playing catch up. Right. You know? Right. And Stockton, he's there too, man, and nipping on Vandegrift's heels. And I think they're all three very talented quarterbacks, and we'll just see how it shapes out. But without a doubt, I think Carson Beck deserves the nod at this point in time. And from a little bit we've seen, and I would be completely fine with it, man. Yeah, I'm excited. Let's roll. Let's go. He's got some pieces around him, good veteran pieces, good offensive line. It's a good situation for a quarterback transition. Sure. A lot of experienced guys around him, man. Yeah. So let's roll. Let's go. Let's do it. I'm fired up. Let's go. And it's a good, man. That's good. That's good. Hey, new OC, new quarterback. It doesn't matter. Let's go.
Let's do it.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go to the other side of the ball,
Adam. Yes, sir. Talk about that defense, Clark. Unbelievable. I just get giddy just thinking about it, man.
You are a big defensive guy, aren't you?
I love defensive football. Yeah. And I've loved some of these past Georgia defenses, man. You think about that 2017 Georgia defense, Clark.
19.
Whoa! You think about that 2019 defense that we've talked about many times that were very underrated and got overshadowed by some lackluster offensive play. Yeah. And then you think about that 2021 defense. Oh, unbelievable. And then last year wasn't too shabby themselves, were they? You know what? You know what I'm about to say?
I'm right here with. I'm going to go ahead and agree with you.
Just go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say what I'm thinking.
This is going to be the best Georgia defense of all time?
Of all time. And Kirby Smart's area, all time. This 2023 Georgia Bulldog defense is going to be the best defense of all time at the University of Georgia. That is unbelievable.
And people are probably thinking, I don't know. Nolan Smith's gone. Jalen Carter's gone. Keely Ringo's
just
gone.
Had a big transfer out.
Yeah.
No. Reload, man. Yep. That is where the University of Georgia is. What you saw Alabama do for so many years, Georgia is here reloading, man. It's not rebuilding, it's reloading, man. And a standard is set, and you guys are taught it, and they become upperclassmen, and they grain it into the new blue chip 5 stars coming in. Exactly. And it's just a cycling machine that just never stops, man.
And the reason I think we're both in agreement with, like, this could be the best, it will be the best Georgia defense of all time. We got to see a lot of these guys, young talent last year, who we kind of doubted. We weren't sure, are they going to step up? Are they going to fill the shoes of these guys, the 15 guys that left?
Yeah.
They did. They did that and way more. I think they stepped up. They exceeded expectations for last year. And they're only going to be better this year.
Yeah, absolutely, Clark. Well, let's go ahead. Let's start on it, man. Let's start on. You want to start on the back end, secondary? Let's start in the secondary, man. Of course, that's Kirby Smart's boys. Always has been since he's been here, man. Always some talented guys coming in and fighting for positions there. One thing we've noticed yesterday and was expected, Javon Bullard playing safety, kind of plugging in Chris Smith's spot, moving from the star to the safety position. Absolute freak. My favorite player on the defense side.
Mine too. I'm serious. I love it. He's got heart.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll say this, too. I'll go on record saying that Javon Bullard, he's going to have 5 or more picks this year.
Absolutely, man. I mean, he is a stud, just natural instinct and ability. One thing I do want to mention real quick, off subject, I meant to mention when we were talking about Arian Smith, was it the reverse or sweep that Arian had? And did you see the angle? Bullard was so confident that he took, and it was a great angle. It was a great angle that Bullard took to get Arian Smith down, and Smith just ran right by him. I mean, that's good on good Georgia talent we got. That anybody else, it seems like Bullard would have hawked down. But it was just funny to see, seeing that. But Javon Bullard is a freak. He is a stud, man. All-American secondary player, I feel like, without a doubt. And could have All-American year this year. Of course, beside him, going to be in his sophomore year, Malachi Starks, Clark. Somebody who I thought last year, especially at the beginning of the year, has talent, to possibly be one of the best or in the conversation defensive backs in the University of Georgia football history.
Could be.
And entering his second year, we'll see where he goes up from here, man. A guy I felt like did really, really good at the beginning. I mean, had picked South Carolina, Oregon. Kind of got picked on at LSU and kind of in the back half, but, a lot of guys did in that secondary. So I think, you have Starks, who's going to be an absolute stud as well. And then, Clark, I think at the star position, our guy Tyke Smith.
Tyke. I love him.
I love Tyke Smith, a guy who was an All-American at West Virginia, Clark. Highly regarded coming in. It probably hasn't panned out in 2021, 2022 like he hoped for.
Right.
Man. A guy, we kind of thought would come in and make a huge impact immediately. And he got some reps here and there, got hurt against Auburn in 21. Didn't have a huge year last year, but the guy who would come in and I think from all I've heard, been a good team guy.
Yeah.
He's got 2 national championships because of it.
He does.
And then this year is able to come back and I think going to play a big role.
Yeah.
And we'll see a lot of young guys, that could take that spot as well.
Right.
That's kind of how they lined up yesterday as far as those roles go.
And let's not forget Dirty Dan Jackson.
Dirty Dan Jackson is coming back.
He's coming back.
Exactly
One more year,
right,
baby.
Clark. Yes,
Run
sir.
it back.
I'm excited about that. Get some
I love
experience
old Dan
there, man. Heck of a special teams guy, too.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
So
Yeah, he is.
I think that's going to be exciting to see there. Always good to have experience on that back end as well. So just an embarrassment of riches. Some younger guys, too, we're not even going to dive into. Clark, Kamari Lassiter, I think, is a guy who was, at the end of the year, the best cornerback Georgia had.
Yep.
Love Keely Ringo, don't get me wrong, but I think Lassiter was playing at a higher level than Keely was. So you got him, and now, the thing was always going to be who was going to be opposite of Keely Ringo. Now it's who's going to be opposite of Kamari Lassiter.
Right.
And 2 talented guys it seems like they had in the fold. Saturday running with the ones was Nyland Green and Dalen Everett.
Yep.
Both highly regarded. Both, I think, Everett looked very physical.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you got Lassiter who's a physical freak too.
Right.
And that's what's the difference is now that we see with these Kirby Smart defenses and quarterbacks, man, is having these big physical corners, man, who can press and jam and disrupt some of that timing, man, especially could come up there and stick their nose in the running game, baby, and pop somebody and hit somebody, baby.
Love it.
And I love it. So you get somebody like Dalen Everett and then Nyland Green, you got some speed with him, man. So I'm excited. Both of those guys, Clark. And then there's some other guys, some freshman guys who are going to be in there and play and look pretty good. A.J. Harris is a guy, cornerback who could come in there.
He's a big boy, too.
There's some I'm just leaving out now that we'll get to with the season preview as the summer progresses. But, yeah, big boy, too. So, I mean, there's always going to be talent there. So the defensive secondary should be good. Should be good, man. So I'm excited. A lot of familiar names there and a lot of new guys coming in that are very talented, that are hungry as well. That's what I like. Is you have a mix of guys who have been there, who know about it. Then you have guys, too, coming in that are hungry and just as talented, man, and going to create good competition. And that's why we're so high on this defense.
Yeah. And we've kind of already talked about the defensive line earlier with Bear.
Yeah.
So
with them leaving, man, I mean, but there's experienced guys there. You're not going to doubt Trey Scott. There's a lot of young guys. Jordan Hall, somebody to look out for, early enrollee freshman. Kristen Miller's guy. And then you have the Logues, the Walthowers, the Stackhouses, the Brensons, and then Ingram Dawkins, who might be your anchor and your guy this year, defensive tackle as well. A lot of guys have played a lot of good football at a high level, man. So, boom.
And have won a lot of games.
Dang right.
And behind them, got some familiar names too.
You got Chaz Chambliss coming back, man. Another year under his belt. A guy who had to step up in Nolan Smith's absence last year and played a lot of critical football plays. So looking back on it, it was good to see that experience he got last year, Clark. And this guy who, we talked about some stuff that really needs to set the edge, baby. Get that edge set, baby. But I think a guy, just one more year in the weight room and somebody I'm excited to see. Excited to see what happens. Marvin Jones Jr. did not.
There were several guys that didn't play.
He did not play, and
Smile
it's been
didn't
injured
play.
this spring. Smile London didn't play. Smile London didn't play. And but Marvin Jones Jr. is a guy I really like at the outside linebacker position. Clark, as far as looking the part, that man looks the part, man. So I hope that he could get good and healthy get conditioned even more, become even more of a freak this summer in the weight room, and then have a good fall camp and see where that all shakes out. Jalen Walker didn't play either, did he?
No, I don't think so.
And Xavier Sorey played really good the inside linebacker position in place of Munden. And I think as a guy who will get some reps, I'm excited for him, a freak guy. I don't remember Jamin Dumas Johnson.
I don't think he played yesterday.
I don't even remember his name or anything.
I don't know.
What is up with Jamin Dooman Johnson? Google his Jamin Dooman Johnson's name, because I've not heard a soul out of him since the ordeal he had this offseason. Did he even play? There's nothing.
Oh yeah, shoot, Adam.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Do we know?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing him out there.
If you know, comment below on YouTube. I know.
I just got to think of this. I don't remember seeing anything about, but then I don't remember seeing them in the names out category either.
Right. Something's weird.
Something's very weird about that. I don't know.
Okay. We're gonna move on because I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But a guy, C.J. Allen Clark, freshman guy coming in, looks like Roquan Smith. Mm-hmm. Looks like a guy who could be the next Roquan, the Kobe type deal. I'll just say this with Jamin Dooman Johnson, man, and some of those inside linebackers, there's going to be some competition in that inside linebacker room, man. A lot of freak talent.
That's where you want competition.
A lot of freak talent coming in, Clark. And, you can rotate a lot of guys there. I think a guy like Ryan Davis, I like old Ryan Davis. Old Ryan Davis, but you might see somebody like him exit.
Good.
I mean, you're going to have some turnover, but freak talent there. We're going to be okay there. We're going to be okay on the outside as well, man. Just got to get some of these guys healthy. You really didn't get a full look at that room yesterday on the outside or the inside linebacker spots with a lot of guys dinged up from a physical spring and prior injuries, man. But, hey, that shapes it up, man. I think it's going to be another talented front seven, Clark. I think Glenn Schumann and Will Muschamp are going to have a heck of a defensive front, man, and it's just going to be another good defense.
Another good defense,
good defense. Another good defense. Excited to see these young guys progress. Guys who were, it was fun, always fun. My favorite part of G-Day, seeing the early enrollee guys and how they look coming out and just being on campus a couple months. And you could tell Georgia's got some studs, man, that we're going to talk about for some years to come, and we'll make an immediate impact this fall, I think. So excited to read about it when fall camp starts in August. So
yeah.
Boom, big day.
That wraps up G-Day.
Awesome.
Yeah, fun day. That wraps up G-Day.
Basically, I took away, Clark, that Georgia can very well win it again and probably will win it again.
Exactly. We didn't watch a ton. I mean, I went back and watched it. And we watched some of the plays yesterday, but quite honestly, when I just watched first drive and I just gathered that, we're going to be good.
Oh, yeah.
We both did.
One thing, too, Raylan Wilson, I wanted to say.
Okay.
And Raylan Wilson had a pick six.
Yeah,
and Damon Wilson had a 2 sacks.
Boom.
So
the Wilson boys.
The Wilson
Shout
boys.
out to
the Wilson boys right there.
Oh, man. Okay.
Yeah, that's all my napkin notes I got.
The napkin notes. I love the napkin notes.
A staple.
We need to save the napkin notes, Adam, and then auction them off for millions of dollars for charity.
Yeah. Hey, one thing also, Clark, before we wrap up G-Day.
Okay.
Big Kel Stone.
Oh, yes.
Big Kel Stone. We got to meet Kel Stone and his buddy Steven. So finally, Kel Stone, one of the guys that what I like about Kel Stone, gave us this cup. His wife made these cups. I love them. I love the fact that I could drink coffee or Diet Coke out of them. I got Diet Coke in it today. And it's been a good mug for me, man. Big loyal listener of the show. I call him, he's the guy who gets it ramped up on YouTube. Man. He's like the first guy that you're going to see a good comment to get the energy level going.
Kel from
Get the energy level going on YouTube, man. So always good seeing old Kel Stone, man. It was finally nice to meet him and his friend Steven.
Yeah, that was cool. Good.
That was good. Yeah. That was good.
That was fun. All right. Let's go down memory lane, Adam.
Oh, yeah, this is exciting.
So to celebrate the 50th episode, the half centennial mark of Row 60, we're going to go through some of our important dates and just memories, right?
I hope everybody enjoys this section and doesn't turn it off right now. Because y'all were going to this is going to be some good memories. So get it rolling.
Maybe some people just skip to this point. I don't know.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, buckle up, sit back, relax. Just travel down memory lane with us. It's so much fun.
There we go.
All right. Let's go all the way back to July 22nd, 2021. At that point in time, Adam, we had never seen a national championship in our lives.
No, we hadn't.
And we were getting really fired up about the football season. I remember we went to the lake, your family lake house, and we were eating dinner. I think it was, hot dogs, hamburgers, that kind of deal.
That's that time of year in July, man, but all you're thinking about football.
Yeah.
And especially that year because you're coming off a weird year, COVID year. Wasn't to the Georgia standard under Kirby Smart then. But you had a big Peach Bowl win, but crowds, of course, were very limited capacity, wasn't the field, so you were excited. You were just ready to get back to it, and you were playing Clemson, that opening game, and we hate Clemson because of where we're located, and everything. So that was kind of the feel at that point in time.
Right. And I remember sitting there, and we had talked about it, starting a Georgia football podcast, talking, right? And we were talking about it, and that night, I don't know, just something clicked, and we were just like, we need to just do this.
Yeah,
right? Stop talking and just do it.
Just do it.
And so we sat there, and we were in a discussion with our family and ourselves, and we were just talking about this idea of a podcast. And your cousin Joanna Malcolm, she said, hey, maybe y'all should call it row 60.
Yep.
Row 60, because we sit on row 60. I was thinking, wow.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That was good. It just clicked like right there. We're like, we got to do it.
That's it.
This is it. This is it right here. Because I mean, the names we were coming up with were just not. We don't want to do like UGA football talk,
right?
Dog talk,
the podcast,
or glory podcast, or
right.
I don't know. There might actually be a glory podcast. I don't mean to say that. I mean just generic names. We wanted it to stand out
and be meaningful,
and be meaningful to us, personal, and for it to be a fan view podcast, you know?
Right. And so, I mean, that idea evolved, and we talked about it, row 60. So then I went home after the lake, and I don't know, I made the logo that night.
Yeah,
I mean, it just kind of clicked. I wanted to stay at Georgia. Then I sent it to you that next morning, Adam. You approved. You loved it. And we went with it.
It's fired up, man.
We still have it to this day. So maybe one day we'll redesign it. Maybe
I don't know, man. You don't mess with. I don't know. We might, but we still just can't beat just good classic.
Well, maybe we'll add another logo.
Might add an alternate.
There we go.
That's right. But
and I mean, that was kind of the birth. So July 22nd, July 23rd, literally the next day, we were like, we're doing this, and we announced it. We announced it to the world. We put it on social media and announced that we were doing our 60.
That's right.
A few days later, August 4th, 2021, we released episode number 1. Adam, what do you remember about episode number 1?
I remember being in your kitchen. And we were in your kitchen where now this previous year, the same bar, stool island, like little area right there, the kitchen counter, I guess you would call it, is where in your house is where we filmed it that we've done the past year, all our live call-in shows at. But I remember sitting there and having no clue what I was doing.
Me neither.
Didn't know what I was going to talk about. Just started rambling in the mic. And, I just came over to your house. It was like just a random Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And we weren't even planning on doing it working. And we just like, let's sit and see how it goes, man. Just kind of play with it. And then boom, we pumped that thing out.
Right.
We pumped it out, and it was very interesting. It was very interesting. Yeah. So
looking back, it's a tough watch.
It's a tough cringe-worthy watch.
Yeah, but
hey, that's where growth comes from.
Exactly. It was fun, and that kind of marks the beginning.
Had
the
no
birth.
idea what we were doing.
Right.
That's it.
The birth of Row 60 would be August 4th. We'll say 2021. So that's its birthday. September the 3rd, 2021. It's the first call-in show, Adam.
I'll never forget, Clark, the anticipation of that whole week, because I was so excited about playing Clemson. Because the hatred at that point in time, and still, of Clemson, because they won 2 national championships. I just want 1 national championship. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to win 2 national championships.
Right.
And then 2 national championships in 3 years. I was the jealousy of that program at that point in time. Dabo this, Dabo that, because we live in Northeast Georgia, right on the South Carolina line, literally like 10 minutes from the South Carolina line. And honestly, it's just as close to Clemson as we are Athens. So we have to deal with a lot of orange and purple. And I was just ready to beat them. In neutral environment in Charlotte, opening up the season, man, I was ready to beat Clemson, and I've been waiting for Georgia to have that crack at Clemson, because we hadn't played them since kind of the Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence dynasty. So I was amped. That Friday afternoon, I could not stop pacing. I remember I was working on a hay cutter that had kind of just trying to, after work, just trying to pass time, because I was so nervous and just really just fumbling around, just couldn't focus on anything. And I just remember just this pure just nerves in my stomach, not only for the game, but for the call-in show. I was like, who's going to call in? Are we going to have anybody call in at all? And then is it going to work? I remember you, thank God, your technological just knowledge that you have to get the thing going. And I was like, am I just going to freeze up in the middle of it? There's no redos like we've had on the podcast. I mean, this is all live stuff. What are they going to say? They're going to stump me, And I remember just the nerves of it all, but the excitement of it too, man. And it's a night I'll never forget.
And what was so so cool, Adam. You're right. We were sitting there literally thinking, like, is anybody even going to show up to this thing? Is anybody going to call in? How is this going to work?
Yeah.
And it is so magical how it all just kind of happened. And we had people. There were people there that have from the very get-go have listened to us all the way through to now. The Rich Becks. That's the night we heard Rich Beck. Yeah,
that is right.
From Buffalo, New York. And when I heard that we had a listener in New York, it just blew my mind.
Yeah,
like what?
Like, what? The internet just a great thing.
It is. It could be a bad thing.
Let me rephrase that. In our podcast, little Georgia football world, and communicating it is a great thing.
Oh yeah,
I do not think it's a great thing overall to society. Let me put that out there.
That's fair. No, that's a good point. Yeah, and we had a great time that night. That was so much fun.
It was, man.
Lots of good calls that night,
and good win that next night. A good 10-3 slugfest, man. Oh yeah, just knowing though, Clark, what that game meant, and did we know that night before that game what the next 2 years, 2 years. What would be?
Right.
I mean, you think back of that, man. Nobody could have expected that. I mean, of course, there was that hope of a national championship that year. And, I mean, we always have hope of a national championship. Every year, Georgia has played since I was a kid. I always had that hope. Some of it was just false hope completely.
Did you have that hope in 2009?
I did.
Bless
Joe
our
Cox
hearts.
was going to lose to the promised land. As a 16-year-old, I was saying, all these times, man. Especially when I was a kid during the David Green years. 2004, I was like, we were winning the national championship 100%. But anyway.
Close.
But no, I mean, not knowing what the ride all of us Georgia fans are going to be on that night was just it was special.
Yeah. Looking back, that is special. Yeah. A few days later, 9/11 of 2021, UGA and UAB played.
Yeah.
And we met Jim Wilcox.
That's right.
We did our first ticket giveaway.
Yep.
And we were doing it for that game, UGA versus UAB. And James, his name is James, but we call him Jim. Yep. Jim and his wife, Pam, they came up and we met them. And that was kind of I think that kind of marked the first time we met people in person that had listened to our podcast.
Yeah, which is always fun. It's my favorite.
That is so much fun. Yes, I agree.
Meeting good friends.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that was exciting. That game was neat. First home game of the year. So that was kind of the Stetson Bennett kind of coming out party, man. And kind of never looked back from there.
Yeah. Then this was a good one. This is a very monumental day.
The meat of it right here.
This is where we start amping up our marketing and grassroots. We're all about grassroots.
Right. All about it, man.
Doing things at very low expenses because to be honest, we don't make a lot at Row 60 LLC.
No.
Not yet.
No.
So anyway, we 10-2-21. That would have been October 2nd, 2021. Georgia played Arkansas. And
huge game, man.
Huge game. Yeah, it was a noon kickoff.
Great game.
We got there with our 2 painters poles and our 8x4 follow at Row 60 sign.
Yeah.
And we hoisted that thing up in the air.
Of it, man.
Yes, and we still have it.
I remember. Oh yeah, it's back there. It's we have that sign, and I remember, Clark, the Friday before that game. That Friday afternoon, getting off work and us making that sign and kind of outlining it in the paint. And I was like, this thing is huge because you orchestrate all that. You got you said, Adam, I'm going to go get a 4x8, just massive poster from Home Depot. We're going to paint it. I was like, all right, here we go, Simon. And then, by gosh, you did. And we got back there in the shop right behind us, directly behind us, and painted that thing. And then gave it a trial run with some Gorilla Tape and duct tape, putting it up. I was like, this is perfect. Let's go. Can't wait, man. And so that next day, we go to game day, and a lot of hype right then, man, because it was a top 10 matchup, just beat Clemson. Is this year? And this would turn out to be the game that was like, you knew. This is a different era of Kirby Smart football right here, and you knew this team can win the national championship. So that's where that came from then.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do remember that, and I mean, just got it up too, didn't we, Clark?
Oh yeah. And we got there, loaded that thing out there at help me out here. The quad, Myers quad.
Also, you had COVID.
I had COVID. I'm going to assume I had COVID.
Didn't know it.
Yeah, didn't know it at the time. But I did feel really bad that morning, and I just
looked like death. Looked like a ghost.
I did look awful.
Like a ghost.
I mean, I'm already white, but
looked like a ghost.
Yeah, it was bad. And I remember carrying that sign. That sign and the painters poles were heavy because you'd have the wind blowing, and we had to walk that thing up Lumpkin
Peyton
Street.
Hart was with us.
Thank God Peyton Hart was there. Yes. And that was when we got told that we couldn't have that sign on College Game Day, that it was free advertising
from ESPN. And then we kind of let the ESPN person know what we thought about it. Even though, he didn't have any, he was just doing his job, but it just needed to be said something. And then we got on a live rant on Facebook by the College Game Day bus. And then that's when we started our promotional campaign.
Right, anti-ESPN.
Our anti-ESPN campaign that I still strongly support.
Yep. And here's a little replica, by the way. And
that's it. That is
if anybody's wondered,
you need to get why anybody want
these are chopsticks from my from my kitchen. But
But that kind of replicates the painters poles and the original sign that was put up on College Game Day that day.
By the way,
it was fun. And it got a lot of airtime.
It did.
A lot of airtime. And we had a lot of pictures sent, had some followers that day, man, and kind of started the movement.
Yeah. We had about 100 brand new followers on Instagram within like 10, 15 minutes of it being up. So I couldn't imagine how much more we would have gotten. But maybe you are listening to us now because of that sign, which is really cool.
Yes.
But we do, if you want one of those stickers, go visit our website, row60.com. There's our little plug.
That's it, row60.com. Please go and see the merchandise, see the other features that are on that website. Clark worked hard to get that up and running, man. So it's awesome.
Yeah. 10, it's like I have it written down, 10/5/21. October 5th, 2021, we released episode number 8. Adam, this is one of my favorite Row 60 moments, was when we talked about the boll weevil. And what the boll weevil was.
Oh, man. I just that time frame. So that would have been leading into what game? Was that Auburn?
Maybe. That was after the Arkansas game. So whoever we played after Arkansas.
Auburn. Because you couldn't go.
Yeah,
you had COVID.
that is right.
It was that point in time because of the giddiness that starting in October after you just saw they just smoked Vanderbilt. Then they go and smoke Arkansas. That day was just pure domination, a top 10 team. And the giddiness knowing, I think I remember that whole month of October, we were just so excited. Like, this team is for real, it's elite. Right. And we just couldn't. So that's when the podcast really started to come off the hinges because at that point
never
in time,
gotten back on the rails.
I don't care what I say. And then I was like, you got all these people making podcasts out there that are a whole lot more connected than we are, a whole lot more polished than we are, and really trying to take themselves serious in it. And I was like, we're not former players. We have no connections up. This is what our forte is. And then this is just me. We're going to be real on these podcasts and show our passion. That's when it just became unhinged because we were so excited during that month, that whole point in time because of how well Georgia was playing and that game of the week segment, which has been just great because you've brought something to just blindside me where they were from. But the fact that you had no idea what a boll weevil was, I could not get over the fact that you grew up in the state of Georgia, had to take your aunt teaches Georgia history.
She does, or did.
Does not know what a boll weevil is, and you have no idea what a boll weevil is. Well, it just blew my mind.
Okay, hold on.
Blew my mind. Hold
on. It was just, let me defend myself here a little bit.
That we were talking about a boll weevil on a Georgia football podcast in the middle of the season is what made it was gold.
I know. It's just so obscure. But in my defense, I did know it was like some sort of a creature, right? But I didn't know that. I thought it was a mammal. I literally thought it was like some form of an anteater. I don't know.
Oh, it's classic. It was a classic
clip,
man. You need to redo that clip and put it up for people to see who has missed it, who wasn't following the program at this point in time. So
we'll insert it right here. This is a boll weevil.
The boll weevil destroyed the cotton industry in the 1800s.
Really?
Oh, it was yeah. They just came through and caused a bunch of havoc.
What are
cotton fields that ate it?
So are boll weevils like extinct? Are they still around? Or
I think they're still. I mean, they're still around, but there's chemicals insecticides that prevent them now. I believe. I don't. But
they're not insects. Why are they insects?
I mean, it's a bug, a type of bug. From my understanding,
I thought it was an animal
that eats. It eats. It eats cotton. It eats cotton.
I thought it was
decimated the cotton plants in the South back in the day.
I thought a boll weevil was an animal. I thought it was like some mammal.
I think what is so great about this show is we'll just go off on tangents. And the thing about our connection as cousins and and where we have been in our lives is we have unique senses of humor that a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
That me and you could just stare at a wall and just start laughing at each other with stuff about, and that a lot of people don't think it's funny, but we just die.
Yeah.
Just die.
Oh,
and that's one of those things that has been brought over to the show, which has been so good. But yeah, that Boll Weevil moment, just that whole month of October, man,
awesome.
those shows were just great. We were kind of getting some more followers. We were getting excited. We were just going off the rails with excitement because Georgia just kept winning.
Yeah.
Just kept winning. And, you'll never forget. I remember leaving Jacksonville that year. Like, oh my gosh, here we go. This is it. This is it. You know, and the excitement of being undefeated going on later into the year.
Yeah. One of our next moments was talking about that Florida trip. We did our first tailgate talk, and that's when we kind of boots on the ground, just trying to give the people a feeling of what the Georgia-Florida game is like. And if you've never seen that video, you need to go watch it. It's on YouTube. Just type in Row 60 tailgate talk. It should pop up. We just kind of took a camera around and we let Adam do his thing. We got a mic and, and he would go around and interview people. That was fun. Adam.
It was fun, man, because it was like people hadn't got to experience what Jacksonville was like. I
Yeah.
mean, people, we showcase people aren't like us that just come down there just focus on the football game. A lot of people just come down there, could care less who wins the games, is there for the party.
Yeah.
In Jacksonville, man, and it's a very unique area. And I remember the first guy that we interviewed, we literally walked like 3 steps and we ran into this grown man dressed up as Ricky Bobby.
Yes.
And his girlfriend, wife, whatever was dressed up in another costume. And
Because it was Halloween that day.
and I don't think they even knew who was playing.
Right.
Because I asked, who's going to win the football game? He says, Michigan. And I look at Clark like,
What?
what in the world is he saying? So you go on and it's like, this is just gold. We meet some women who are having a great time, indulging in their beverages.
Right.
And dance with them and everything. Just kind of enjoyed the moment. I think my favorite interview of that, though, was with the Florida fans.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, your stereotypical Florida fans.
Yep.
One guy had just his jean shorts on. And when he said... He looks at me dead serious when I asked how the game was going to go, Clark, and he goes, "This is a rivalry." Well, he said rivalry. Left out the L. This is a rivalry game, and I kind of looked like Clark, like. Yeah, this is a rivalry game.
Rivalry.
His name was Ernest.
Ernest,
Our boy Ernest. This is a rivalry game. I said, yes, it is.
Classic.
And one guy was just blitzed. I mean, just had
Well, they all were, I
too
think.
much. They all were, and he said something that can't be said now.
No.
Couldn't be said in that video. But if you watch the video and you're older, you can kind of say what it. You can kind of make out what it was. And I lost it.
I know.
I lost it. We watched that clip like 100 times after
man.
that. But you just see the look on his drunken face after he says that, and just kind of he's just smiling, just so proud.
He's just so proud of himself for coming up with that.
But it was funny. And they would talk about how Georgia hadn't won anything, and then there was a Florida fan, older lady, that says that she thinks Georgia's going to win the national championship,
and she was right.
She hopes not, and then said, "Yep, right." So that was fun. That was an enjoyable moment, man. Enjoyable moment.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and hopefully we'll continue to do that. We'll definitely do one this year because last year we tried, it just didn't work out the way we wanted to. So anyway, there's a lot in the archive that you people don't know.
That wouldn't.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff, y'all, that is in the Row 60 archive.
Bloopers of us messing up.
I'm telling you,
show getting just laughing hysterically too hard.
Lots of stuff we filmed that never kind of released.
Maybe we need to kind of do some of that.
We need to open up the box.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see.
The library.
All right. 11/8. So that was November 8, 2021. I thought that was our best set, Adam.
This
episode number 13. We played Tennessee, and I think it was your mom. She had the idea of putting trash all on our table here.
Literally collected trash out of trash cans.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely, man. And put it on the table. You know, obviously that was right after a couple of weeks after the Tennessee fans threw mustard bottles and golf balls and trash on the field at Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss. And we had mustard bottles and golf balls and everything. And, we dressed up in some protective gear, kind of just poking fun. And that was a time that November, Georgia's just firing on all cylinders. And I mean, the giddiness and the excitement level was just at a complete fever pitch going into Knoxville, Tennessee, and a weird time of year playing in Knoxville, Clark, because it was the next to last game of the year.
Exactly.
It's been 3. You had Charleston Southern, then Tech.
Right.
That's right. So you had that going on, and it's the next to the last game of the year this year. I'm sorry, in Knoxville. Year. But anyway, that year, yeah. So, but it was like the last test. It was like the last test, and you knew this, and then you're going to see Georgia have the first undefeated regular season that it's had since 1980.
Right.
And you saw 17. You got past going to Jacksonville undefeated, but you lost at Auburn. And this year, you get through this Tennessee game, man. It's smooth sailing.
Yeah.
So the excitement level was huge for that, man. And that set was just great.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was great.
December 4th, 2021. That's the day that it's our one blemish here at Row 60.
Oh, man.
Our one and only loss, Adam.
Yeah. Clark, do you remember your feeling coming out of Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
I wanted to throw up.
I was literally sick to my stomach. And I was thinking, Lord, do I need to just like not take this as seriously? Like, so how bad is this affecting my health? Like, because my health, I was literally like bent over, like thinking about all the tough losses to them over the years, from going back from 2012 to 2018 to the 17 national championship.
15 blowout.
That happened, and just like, we can just not get over the hump. I wanted it so bad, have wanted it so bad for so long. And I just remember just ranting. I mean, you just ranting about it. And then the whole car ride back, man, and just thinking on what happens now. We're still going to go to the playoffs, but are we going to see him again? It's going to happen. Can we beat them again if it happens, man? And I remember that was a humbling experience. I thought, I'd bought into the fact that Georgia's going to beat them that day. And things just didn't go our way. Stetson didn't have one of his better games. Bryce Young played phenomenal. And it was a game that it just didn't turn out. But, what was coming was remarkable. But I just remember that episode like, golly, what do we say? What do we say? But, of course, you go back and watch that episode and just see where we were at. We took the approach. We're going to be fired up. We're going to be optimistic. We're going to let it just be honest, eat our crow about it, because we had been just that whole week amping it up.
And we did get a rotisserie chicken.
Yes,
it was not an actual crow.
Yes, we pretended we were eating a crow. It was rotisserie chicken. And then we got fired up at the Orange Bowl. Had our oranges lined up on set, man. So that was exciting. That was exciting. Then to think about what was coming next after kind of that low point, right? Right. The only loss. That's amazing.
One and only loss here at Row 60. Then the Orange Bowl 2021. What a fun trip. We had such a great time going down to Miami and Disney World. We spent a day there.
Spent a day there. Then but what stands out of that trip, man, was you just, I don't know what the expectation was, kind of. I mean, I felt like Georgia was going to win, but I didn't think they were going to do what they did. Yeah. And when they came back and answered from that SEC championship, and after almost taking a month off, coming back and clicking on all cylinders like they did, and just dismantling Michigan like they did, man, I was juiced. And then, the thought, we get to go see Georgia play in another national championship, man. It didn't work out the first time we got to see them in our life, but we get another chance, man. We get another chance, and we get to play Alabama in a venue that's not in Atlanta. And that was kind of the thought, like, this is going to be different. It's going to be different.
The optimism you had when you heard, and we all had to reaffirm ourselves, like, it's tough to beat a team twice, and it really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we on that trip back from Miami after beating them, because it was New Year's, we're coming back that New Year's Day. It was just we were able to kind of relax a little bit, knowing like, we get a second shot. It's tough to beat a team twice. Maybe this is it. That's when you kind of got the hope and the belief.
Oh, you did, man. It was just the giddiness of it. Like, we'll get another shot. Let's go. And then me and Clark are ultimate glass half full type. I mean, and then especially if kind of one of us maybe not, then the other one would just get us all just completely just
delusional.
180 delusional. We're going back at. So we're not good for each other when it comes to that. We're going to talk each other up. We can get excited about just walking through a door. Right. If we wanted to with each other. So it's just, everybody's got that connection with people. And I'll never forget coming, the beauty of it was that stadium was in the middle of a field. There was literally just parking around it. And right as midnight hit, going into 2022 in Miami.
Okay, yeah.
In Miami, It was we were out there smoking a celebratory cigar, fireworks, just 360 all the way around. It was just a special moment. That's when we were soaking in. We're going back to a national championship. And I'll never forget coming back to the hotel that night. Clark was in the back seat, and I just look in my rearview mirror about 5 minutes from getting to the hotel, and I just kind of see him kind of wobbling around, just kind of like, kind of there. And then he kind of just says, I don't feel too good. And can I get some air cranked up? The Clark, we put that air wide open, cranked it up. You got that vent on you. And, like,
well, and the reason why I was going to roll down the window, Adam.
Yeah.
But the reason we can't roll down windows on game days because we got the flags attached and the windows.
So anyway. We had to crank that air all the way up, man. And then, the system in the Suburban and the best, that thing's just a clicking. And we're like, just trying to pump out some cold air for Carl. And he's just back there. I'm like, Carl, you're going to pass out, man. So we finally pull up into to the lobby part just to let my wife out, who had to go to the bathroom during this time. And so we're in the middle of, the little breezeway where the car pulls up to go to the check-in area, the lobby. And Clark just literally falls out of the car. Is just sprawled out and like legs propped up against the Suburban. And then we can't move Clark. And we're trying to get Clark out of the way because there's a handicapped van behind us, and they just realized we're not going to move because Clark's just sprawled out over the breezeway right there. And then all of a sudden you see this girl in a wheelchair, bless her heart, come out on her motorized wheelchair, and she was decked out in her New Year's apparel, and she just scoots right by Clark. Just scoots right by Clark's head. It's just the image of seeing her, bless her heart, because they had to get out behind us because we couldn't move Clark out of the way in time because of his state, and her just putting right along right past Clark there. I mean, it's just a memory that will stick out to me for the rest of my life, man. And I know everybody has those memories that game from the giddiness of times that stuff might not be as funny, but because of the elation that you're at, man, after these games and after these wins that you have and that all of our listeners have, and that's just our personal ones that we share. And that was fun.
That was a good time. I felt awful that night. I think it was a cigar smoke, Adam, and it normally doesn't get to me.
Yeah,
but I think I was puffing it so quickly.
I mean, you hammered that thing.
You hammered it. And I had no water the whole day. And no
just food, really.
Like lunch, and that was it.
That Chili's at 1 o'clock, and that was about it then, wasn't it? So, you add all those up together, and then there you go. You pass out and you fall out. The only person I said that passed out and fell out on the streets of Miami-Dade County on New Year's Eve that night that was actually stone cold sober.
That was me.
That was Carl.
Yep. Oh, man. That was a great time. Let's get forward to a week.
Oh, yeah.
Adam, and leading up to that national championship game, I just remember I literally could not do any work at all. That entire week, I was so unfocused. All I could do was watch highlights and just read. And I've never been more unfocused and more unproductive, but I remember just calling you nearly every day. Just Adam.
This is it, isn't it? This is it. And then, by the time Thursday rolled around, we were going to run through a brick wall.
Yes, we're just.
Because we talked to each other up like, this is it. It's now or never, Clark. And that was kind of the feel. And the whole ride to Indianapolis, I'll never forget, it was a Sunday morning. It was weird. Traveling on that Sunday morning to Indianapolis, Indiana. It rained the whole entire time up there. And we had a caravan of folks coming behind us. And we had a hotel at a Holiday Inn. Scottsburg. It was Scottsburg, Indiana. Scottsburg, Indiana. I mean, just a little tiny dot on the map right there that we were going to. So we pulled in that Sunday afternoon and got checked in. I mean, literally just a little hotel off of Exit, and they had a couple restaurants. We ate at Roadhouse USA.
I remember that.
Well, Big Taylor Hartley was there, Clint and Kayla, and then the rest of the crew was coming later on that night. But Roadhouse USA was like a Gold Corral type, just a local restaurant where you could get a nice steak buffet at. And the nerves, Clark, that night, I'll never forget just thinking, if they don't do it this time, will I ever have an opportunity to see Georgia win a national championship? I mean, that's kind of was my thought. I was like, I don't know if I could. I was like, I just don't want to experience what I experienced in 2017.
Right.
In 2017, I was like, thank God that I got to see Georgia actually be in a national championship and get the anticipation and excitement. And thank God for the Rose Bowl, man. That was kind of my thought then. But this time I was like, I was getting more greedy, getting more selfish. Like, I have got to see them win a national championship, and this is it. Don't want to wait another year. This is it. I don't want to lose to Alabama again. We've drove all the way up here again, and are we just crazy and delusional if it happens again that we lose a heartbreaker at Alabama? But the thought of, you can't beat a good team twice. And I thought it was going to be fun to get to play them in a completely new venue.
Yep. This
at Lucas
totally
Oil Stadium,
neutral.
man. So anyway, go on to what it was that night.
Yeah, so that was when we had that live call-in show. That was by far our best, most fun, most memorable call-in show. Had it there in the conference room of this Holiday Inn in Scottsburg, Indiana. We got everything set up. We had everybody was there. That's the only thing we did that night. We didn't watch, it's not like we went out and did anything.
No, I mean,
we just stayed in the hotel.
And for people who actually watched it that night, the whole conference room was full of Georgia fans,
it was.
too.
Yeah.
So it was so much fun. A lot of people viewed and called in, and you could sense what I loved about it, and it got me more excited, was you could sense the excitement of everybody who was calling in from all across the nation. I mean, everybody from Georgia fans, the belief, like everybody's like, yeah, this is going to happen. We're going to beat them. This is our time. And I drank so much coffee that night. I just kept getting coffee.
5 cups,
refills.
right?
Yeah. That I remember, like, we were playing cards later on after that night. I was just shaking. And then I got in bed and I was just shaking. And I was like, I couldn't go to sleep, couldn't do anything. Like, I was just, you could ask my wife, Kelsey, I was just pacing in the hotel room like at 2 a.m. that morning, just a wreck. Finally fell asleep a little bit, got a little sleep. But that show was so memorable and it's probably my all-time favorite moment, Clark.
Yeah.
And the sense of just the excitement, the rants that we went on that, I just remember saying that this is it. This time, Mark Rick led us to Moses led us to the promised land. Kirby Smart's going to be Joshua, and we're going to cross that, we're going
that's a good analogy.
And I was like, and the excitement of that and hearing the stories of that's what I love about the calling shows the most, is getting excited about people calling in and hearing their stories. Yeah. And the guys that have been on there and called us in, the Ryan Days of the world, the Kel Stones. I mean, just all these guys, that have always been there, and new people getting to listen to them, and it's always exciting, man, and something. The Blake Newmans, and I'm very thankful for them, because it makes us even more excited, and that's the whole goal, is for everybody to enjoy the moment of what we've been blessed to see over these last 2 years.
Exactly.
And that night in Scottsburg, man, was it was unreal.
It was great.
Unreal. And then the whole rest of our crowd, because we had like 20 hotel rooms rented from that hotel.
We did, and there were people that, I think because maybe we were doing the show, actually came to stay in that same hotel and just hang out.
And I remember the rest of our crew came. I mean, a big group of them, the Burtons and everybody came like during the middle of the broadcast and like came on the broadcast. I mean, you just felt the energy level was up, man. Yeah, I think it was exciting doing it from a hotel conference room. They were threatening us to throw us out, and that just ticked me off. And then it
made us even more loud.
Like, we'll go to the La Quina down the road. They won't throw us out, or the Howard Johnson down the road and get it. I mean, it was just it was a fun time.
I mean, but you really think about it. We were the reason they booked out half that hotel.
Exactly.
Not we. I'm just saying Georgia
fans there.
Yeah,
yes, our whole group of Georgia fans that came up there. So I mean that was a memory. That was a memory that night and that trip. I mean, I can still just close my eyes and picture the whole layout of that hotel.
Yeah,
and everything, man. And I'll never forget it. As long as I have the good Lord just gives me a good memory, I'll never forget that whole trip.
And you definitely will never forget that next night, the national championship, Row 60's first national championship.
It was.
Our first.
That's Georgia fans.
National championship. What a moment. What a moment. And I think I don't ever want this this second national championship to ever overshadow that one. I think they're two totally separate things. And
it was.
That first one was just so special. It was just magical. It was I cried. It was very, very emotionally charged that whole night. So
I remember, man, just the celebration after it with all these Georgia fans that I've grown up with, and with my mom, who has meant so much, who instilled this passion in me, being able to hug her and thanking God that, I mean, there's more important things in life.
Yeah.
But this is a thing that means a lot to us and to a lot of people, and the people listening to this, and y'all shared the same experience with your loved ones and friends. Being able to see it happen, we wanted to see that, and that was a dream of mine, to see one with my mom while we were both still on this earth, and we got to experience it, man. And the celebration with that and our friends and family that were there, something that you can't take a amount of money for.
No.
I mean, that you can't put a price tag on it, man. Yeah. It was just it was glorious.
It was glorious indeed. What a time. And a few months went by. We celebrated the national championship. Great celebration. That was our first off season where we've experienced. Yeah, it's like had a national championship to wave around and say, hey, we won something.
And also we're like, man, we just did this podcast, and what we're going to do during the off season, and we just won national championship too.
Well, how do you top that?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about this past season. Season 2 began of Row 60 July 15th, 2022. So last year, remember like yesterday, we're sitting right here. Same kind of set.
Sir. Well, what people don't know if you're looking on YouTube, we moved the table from across the room. So
that is
we're
true.
at now. So we decided
it is different.
It is different. It's the same set, same table, but all the 2021 season was on the opposite side of the room. We're actually facing a different direction than where we were in the 2021 season.
Yeah, it takes up less room over here. That's why.
Yeah, that's right.
So. But yeah, that was that's when we started.
But just thought I'd throw that out there. Yeah. Just a fun fact.
Fun fact. Clark's fun fact.
That's right. That's right.
July 21st of last year, 2022. Just a few days later, Row 60 got its 10,000th download. So that was really cool. You guys download these episodes on Spotify, on Apple Music, and everything. So. That was kind of that's when we got that 10,000th download. That was a big milestone for us, and it's been cool to see kind of our numbers keep going up. We're getting new people on board, and I don't ever want people to think like I don't want to ever lose. Well, I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to lose sight of kind of the people who've helped us get to this point and make this. Because listen, it's not about just Adam and I. It's about all of us as a collective group of people who just love Georgia football, and we're all fans. And 10,000 downloads. That was awesome.
That's right.
September 2nd of last year, we had our Oregon call-in show. That was pretty fun.
That was fun, man. It was fun getting excited about another season of Georgia football. Getting to hear from everybody again.
Yeah.
Hadn't had a call-in show in a few months, so getting to hear from everybody again, get ramped up for another big game at the Bend, starting off as defending national champions, man, and just getting back in the saddle and the swing of things because, kind of like the current state we're at now, we're just putting some shows out here and there, but then it was like, boom, here we go. Now we're getting in the routine. We're going to get, obviously more people are going to get more excited about it. It's that time of year, and it was fun getting it kicked off, man.
Yeah, we had our Oregon tailgate talk. That was another fun thing we did. That's I guess our second tailgate talk. If you haven't seen that, also go look on YouTube for that. But that was fun. We went to the streets of downtown Atlanta, Adam, and it was really interesting because they had Dragon Con, right? Which is this huge. I'll just say it this way. It's a big convention for nerds, right?
That's right.
And honestly, I've always kind of wanted to go. I wouldn't consider myself like this, this guy that knows a ton of stuff about pop culture and everything, but it would be cool to go look. And so we went and we found some characters because people dress up for this Dragon Con. It's a big convention that happens annually, and it was funny.
We did. So. Yeah, it was a good time, man. The excitement of that, just getting in their world and them like having not a clue. Yeah, a big Georgia game was going on. Right. Didn't care. But it was nice. They looked at us like y'all are crazy for liking this, and then coming to talk to us about it. Leave us alone. And
we kind of looked at them like they were crazy for dressing up.
This is great. This is great. All the guys' children do it. They love it. Exactly. I'm about that. Be passionate about something and be yourself and do it and love it, baby.
Yep. That's boom. Adam, one of these days we're going to knock that football off.
That rock off right there. I love that rock.
That's a good looking rock.
Is that like, I don't know what
hey,
it is. Let's go on whatever.
Let's go on a little bit of a side tangent here. What would you say is your favorite prop that has made an appearance on our set? I know. Actually, I know. I think I know your answer.
I think the M&M,
the big game M&M,
the big game M&M.
Yes.
Which the backstory on that is my wife Kelsey has no idea why Clark has that giant M&M and puts it on here. That makes no sense. She makes fun of it every time. We have labeled it as the big game M&M. You will only see this on the table when Georgia's playing the big game.
Yep. And it is an M&M dispenser. I got this, I believe, when I was 1 year old. I don't know why someone gifted this to me when I was one. But anyway, opens up, you put M&Ms in there, you throw the football, and it dispenses. I mean, it still works. We need to put some M&Ms.
Yep. Anyway. That's right.
My favorite prop, Adam, right quick, the Shane Beamer picture frame.
Oh, yes.
That's classic. And that was your idea. That was great.
Classic. Yeah, it was a good classic.
Man.
Love it.
Anyway.
Love it.
A few more dates we want to point out. So the Georgia-Tennessee call-in show, that was wild. I mean, really all we can say about that was just a wild night.
We
were really, really hyped up for that game. And
it was fun, man. It was fun getting the you could just tell with every caller was energized and fired up and wanting this. And that was fun because of just the hatred of Tennessee that everybody shares in common, man. So that was great.
And then game day, the next day, we played Tennessee. Game day came to town. And, hey, this time we took our Row 60 sign, held it up.
And you had a
SEC
strategy.
Nation, and
you had a strategy.
And we had a strategy.
Where went wrong the year before Arkansas was you stay just complacent in one spot.
One spot,
just right there. And then you decided to bounce around during every commercial break, so they couldn't catch up with you.
Right.
So it stayed up. It had another large amount of airtime and a lot of pictures and everything. So got to make that a once a year thing. For sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that game,
great night, the rain, domination, man.
Amazing.
Just kind of cemented that Georgia is the king. And then after that game happened, you started thinking, God, they're gonna do it. They can do it.
we are going to do it again.
We're gonna do it again.
Yeah. And then, hey, December 3rd of last year, Row 60's first SEC championship.
Yeah, that was special, man.
Yeah.
That meant a lot. You can say, well, they won the national championship the year before. Well, it's special to win the SEC championship. We've talked about that on previous podcasts, man, and something that we hadn't done in 6 years as Georgia fans seen. And so it was, 5 years, 2017. So you saw a bunch of losses before then. So being able to get back, winning the SEC championship, adding that to the trophy case, man, and then the fashion that they did too against a very good LSU team who they could see this year too. That it was special. And that was a fun game, Clark. We just talked about it a couple of days ago how underrated that game was.
Yeah.
And so I love it, man. I love it. It was a fun night, and just showed, hey, here we go. We're going back, and this time was extra special, Clark, because after that game, we're like, hey, we done something that we thought, you didn't think you could top the 2021 Georgia team by winning the national championship and going 14-1. This team, Clark, they're 13-0 right now.
Yeah.
We got to think, hey, we're undefeated and with the SEC championship, man.
And two more games.
You can be 15-0, 2 more games, 2 more games. Here we go, baby.
And we knew we would be back in the Peach Bowl. So we had that Peach Bowl call-in show on December 30th last year, just a few months ago. And wow, that one was
firing. That got everybody fired up. I was fired up. Everybody was fired up.
You had your physicality sign.
The physicality sign about what it was going to take to win that football game. And it was exciting. Tennessee and Clemson were playing in the background. Everybody was jacked up. It was just a fun time, man. And it was a Friday night, and everybody was fired up about it. Everybody was just feeling it, man. They knew what it tasted like after last year. They wanted to do it again. Another Big Ten blue blood that it was time to go beat them down again. The game didn't turn out like the Orange Bowl. Both turned out as wins, but this one was a little bit more closer, of course.
Yeah.
And one of the most memorable Georgia games that I've ever been to in my life, Clark. I've never been to a game where I'd given, I don't know, man. I'll be honest. At halftime of the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, I just didn't think Georgia was going to be able to stop Oklahoma's offense.
Right.
And same kind of feeling here. I didn't feel like we were going to be able to get enough stops on C.J. Stroud and Ohio State to come back from the hole that we had dug. But 9 minutes to go. I watch often, at least go back and watch the last 9 minutes of that football game a bunch. Way more than I should. It's a problem. And being able to do that and see what happened and what had to transpire, the timeout on the fake punt, Clark, the quick strike, not taking a lot of time off the clock, being 2 possessions down.
Brock Bowers
doing that.
staying in bounds.
Brock Bowers staying in. Just so many different things. If it goes the other way, a yard or two here or there that you give up for Ohio State to get closer in field goal range, man. But and I feel like the kick before that Noah Ruggles made that just barely went through kind of was, kind of hurt his psyche a little bit. Because he barely punched that first one through.
Yeah.
And then coming back from similar distance or even more distance, 2 yards further from a 48 to a 50-yard attempt, man, and just completely shanking it, and the feeling of coming back. And all I could say was, how in the world did they just win that football game? Because I'd already been thinking, man, I was like, well, if they lose this game, man, we saw an SEC championship this year, another undefeated season, the Tennessee game, just being back here and actually having seen a national championship already by Georgia, I'd be a selfish man to ask for more.
Right.
Well,
we got more. We got more,
baby.
We got a Peach Bowl win
right.
and a second national championship. I tell you, Adam, I'll never forget flying out there with you and my wife, Caitlin, and one of my best friends, McKay.
That's right.
We went out there to L.A. and just had a time. We had a ball. Went to Disneyland for a day. That was fun. And then next day, just kicked TCU's tail.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. It was unbelievable. It was something that we'll never forget, man. Never saw 65-7 come. Felt good about that game. Completely different feel than the national championship before. A very rainy day. Stadium wasn't designed well for it, but completely different feeling. Both were great. Wouldn't trade any experience for it in the world from Indianapolis and Los Angeles, man. But definitely different this past time. But a lot of memories made they'll never forget.
Oh, yeah.
And just can't believe it, man. You have to pinch yourself when you look at the memorabilia and the experiences we've been lucky enough to have to see Georgia win 2 national championships in 2 years, and in 2 years of doing this show, man.
Exactly. Hey, I'd like to think we have something to do with it.
We're going for 3 this time.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Hey, right quick, we're going to wrap this thing up. Since the creation of Row 60, I think this is just cool. 2 national championships.
Yep,
that's amazing.
Yep.
1 SEC championship.
2, man. Yep.
2 undefeated regular seasons. 29-1 record with the 1 loss avenged.
Yep.
We have an Orange Bowl championship, a Peach Bowl championship. We've had a record-setting 15 NFL draft picks in 1 class.
Yep.
We're going to have a lot more, or not a lot more. We're going to have some more this season. Georgia has scored 1,195 points since we started this podcast, and we've only given up 367. That is an 828 point differential. That's insane.
That's a stat. You don't really think about. That was a good one. That was a good.
Thank you, Ab.
Good one.
But hey, it has just been such a cool 2 seasons, and this actually will wrap up season 2. I think this is a good way to put a bow on it.
Put a pin in it, baby.
Put a pin in it. And hey, we're gonna have season 3 up before you know it. And
it's right around
spring.
the corner, baby.
Spring is about to be done. We're about to enter summer here soon. And SEC Media Days coming up. We got more college football talk. It's going to be great.
That's right, man. Hey, through spring football already, G-Day's over, come and gone, man. Kind of over that first kind of step, I guess, progression to the next season, man. You're there, you've made it, and what a run it's been, man. How exciting it has been to experience what we have over the past 2 years, and where we're at this off season, just around the corner, more memories to be made.
I love it. Oh man,
more memories to be made, man.
That's exactly right. There's so much more left to be said, and fun to be had.
Yes, sir.
Adam, wrap this thing up.
Woo! Here we go, baby. Another big episode, Row 60. It was exciting to come to y'all. It's been a blessing every time we get to come and do this, and we appreciate y'all listening, taking time out of your busy schedules to listen. Hope it has brought joy to you and your family. That is our ultimate goal and our main goal. Hope everybody is blessed, man. Have a blessed end of the school year, into the summer. I hope everybody has a great time. Be safe traveling. Be safe going to your day-to-day thing. Be in touch with us, man. Contact us on Facebook, and we will get back with you, and just gear up, get excited, man, and rep that back-to-back national championship gear, baby, because you are a back-to-back national champion. Never forget it, man. September's right around the corner, and it's always great to be a Georgia Bulldog. God bless. Love y'all. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.